Hey there, Lisa here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll join me in my love of crafting and DIYs and hit that subscribe button. Today I'm going to show you how I made this tiered tray out of items from the Dollar Tree. I got this Hoosier. It's missing the cabinet door, and so I wanted a little tiered tray that fit there. So it needed to be a specific height and size, and so I got to work to make my own. To complete this project, I picked up a plunger from the Dollar Tree. I just wanted the handle. I picked up this little silver bowl. Mostly it's the shape that I was going for, so any bowl this shape would be fine. It doesn't need to be metal. For the trays, I picked up a cake pan as well as a pie pan. In addition to the things picked up at the Dollar Tree, I used E6000, some Gorilla Super Glue, wood glue, a sanding block, white spray paint plus primer, black paint, I just used acrylic paint, alcohol and cotton pads, and then I used a little wooden cap and a half bead, as well as the saw, 2-inch screws, and a drill. All right, let's create. The first thing I did was flip the metal bowl upside down and glue the pie pan on top right side up. Next, I took a sanding block and just scuffed it up enough to remove some of that non-stick surfacing cover. And then I used rubbing alcohol and cotton pads to just clean up the surface and get it prepared for painting. Next, using Rust-Oleum paint plus primer in Blossom White, I gave the 3 pieces a couple coats of paint. Since it's been cold, I put them on cardboard, took them outside, spray painted them really quick, and then brought them in and put them in front of the boot dryer to dry. It worked, but it isn't ideal. Not sure what I'm going to come up with now that it's too cold to even do that. Next up was cutting the toilet plunger handle to the sizes that I needed to make the tray. I took the little cap that I had gotten at Walmart, and with some wood glue I glued the half bead on the top of that. With black acrylic paint, I painted the cut pieces as well as the top piece. Then I glued on the decorative top piece that I had created. Normally I would have glued it and then painted it, but I was still undecided if it's what I wanted or not. Once all the pieces were dry, it was time to get them put together. I did solicit my husband's help for this, as I wasn't sure how well I would do drilling through metal. The first thing he did was find the center of the pans and mark that with pencil. Next, he drilled a hole through the cake pan, as well as through the pie pan and the bowl base that we had created. Then in the longest dowel, which would be the one that would go between the 2 trays, he drilled a hole in both ends. I would suggest placing it in a vise rather than holding it with your hand. Once there was a hole drilled in each end of the dowel, the longest dowel, as well as the center of both pans, it was time to attach them. Going from the bottom, he screwed up the pie pan into the dowel. He then put the screw partially through the cake pan so that he could line it up with the dowel, and then screwed it onto the dowel. In the end of the smaller dowel with the decorative top, he drilled out a little indent so that I was able to super glue it over the screw and it would sit flush. And that was it. It was all put together. Finally, to give it that fake enamel look, I grabbed the acrylic paint and a paintbrush and got to work. I found that it worked best to sort of use the side of the paintbrush and just sort of go around the edges. There's a couple spots I feel like I got a little bit carried away with the black paint, but from a distance, you know, it really does look pretty good. I have seen where some people have also used Sharpie to do this, so if that works easier for you, yeah, give it a try. I'm still undecided as to whether I should drill a hole in the top and put a ring in or not. I would love it if you let me know in the comments what you think I should do. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. It fits back in that little cubby really nicely. It's kind of out of the way, which is a good thing when you have a young toddler at home. So yeah, I think overall, I'm going to call this a win. Thanks so much. Again, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.